You can spot a beginner pilot long before the wheels leave the runway. Not by the airplane, not by the headset, not even by the logbook. You spot them by the patterns, the small, almost invisible mistakes that don't cause accidents immediately, but slowly shape unsafe habits, false confidence, and unnecessary stress. Today we're talking about aviation mistakes only beginner pilots do. These are not dramatic Hollywood failures. These are quiet, everyday errors that fill incident reports, insurance files, and hangar gossip. And if you're new to flying, or returning later in life, especially after 60, this video is for you. Because these mistakes don't care how smart, wealthy, or motivated you are. Stay with me, because some of these feel completely harmless until the day they aren't. Mistake number 1, treating the checklist like a religion instead of a tool. Beginner pilots often believe the checklist is sacred. If every box is checked, the flight must be safe. But experienced pilots know something beginners don't yet understand. Checklists don't think, you do. Many beginners rush through checklists mechanically. Fuel, checked. Oil, checked. Controls, checked. But they don't ask deeper questions. Why does the oil look darker than last flight? Why does the fuel smell different? Why does that control feel slightly heavier today? The checklist confirms actions. Judgment confirms safety. The airplane doesn't fail because you skipped a checkbox. It fails because you missed a clue. Ask yourself honestly, when you pre-flight, are you truly inspecting or just completing a ritual so you can go fly? Share that thought in the comments. Mistake number 2, flying because it's planned, not because it's smart. This is one of the most dangerous beginner habits, and it destroys confidence over time. Beginner pilots often feel invisible pressure to complete a flight because it's scheduled. The airplane is booked, a friend is waiting, a restaurant reservation is already made. So instead of asking, should I go, they ask, can I legally go? And legality is a very low bar. Weather minimums are not goals, they are survival limits. Experienced pilots cancel early and calmly. Beginners delay the decision, hoping conditions will improve, and hope has no place in aviation. Think about this. How many flights have launched because it'll probably be fine? How many accidents started with that sentence? Drop your thoughts below. Mistake number 3, managing instruments instead of managing energy. Beginner pilots fly numbers. Experienced pilots fly physics. New pilots obsess over airspeed, altitude, and glide path as separate things. But flying is really about energy management. Pitch, power, and drag. That's the language the airplane understands. This mistake shows up most clearly during takeoff and landing. Beginners try to fix low energy with pitch instead of power. They try to salvage unstable approaches instead of going around. They react late because they're watching instruments instead of feeling momentum. The airplane doesn't care how badly you want the landing to work. Physics will win every time. Here's a question worth discussing. When something feels wrong on final, is your first instinct to go around or to fix it? That answer says a lot. Mistake number 4, underestimating mental fatigue, especially later in life. This mistake grows quietly, especially among senior beginner pilots. Flying looks calm from the outside, but inside the cockpit, it's constant decision-making. Scan, listen, anticipate, correct, repeat. Fatigue doesn't announce itself, it sneaks in. Reaction time slows, situational awareness narrows, judgment becomes optimistic instead of conservative. Many beginners push through tiredness because they feel okay, but feeling okay is not the same as being sharp. Aviation punishes slow thinking long before it punishes bad intentions. Do you shorten flights when you're tired? Do you avoid complex airspace on low-energy days? Or do you fly the same profile no matter what? Let's talk about that in the comments. Mistake number 5, radio avoidance or radio overload. Beginner pilots struggle with radios in 2 opposite ways. Some barely talk at all, afraid of sounding foolish. Others talk constantly, filling the frequency with unnecessary words. Silence creates surprises. Over-communication creates confusion. Clear, calm, predictable radio work is not about confidence, it's about preparation. Many beginners don't practice radio calls on the ground. They wait until they're airborne, busy, and stressed. That's like learning a new language during an argument. Ask yourself, do you rehearse radio calls before flight, or do you improvise every transmission and hope for the best? Mistake number 6, believing technology equals safety. Glass cockpits are amazing. Autopilots save lives, GPS prevents mistakes, but beginners often trust screens more than their senses. They stare inside too long. They follow magenta lines without understanding terrain, wind, or airspace logic. They engage autopilot before mastering hand flying. Technology should reduce workload, not replace skill. But many beginner pilots become system managers before becoming true pilots. Here's a serious question. If every screen went dark right now, how comfortable would you be flying the airplane home? Be honest with yourself and in the comments. Mistake number 7, skipping the post-flight debrief. For beginners, the flight ends when the engine shuts down. For experienced pilots, that's when learning begins. Many beginners only analyze flights when something goes wrong, but the most valuable lessons come from normal flights. Where did workload spike? Where did you feel rushed? Where did you hesitate? Growth in aviation comes from reflection, not drama. Do you mentally replay every flight, or do you just move on to the next one? That habit makes a huge difference over time. Mistake number 8, buying too much airplane too soon. This is an ego trap, and beginners fall into it constantly. Speed, power, range, reputation. They buy the airplane they admire, not the one that fits their lifestyle. Suddenly flying feels stressful. Every flight costs more. Every decision feels heavier. Complexity replaces joy. For senior pilots especially, simplicity equals safety. The airplane you enjoy flying is safer than the one you tolerate. Would you rather fly often in something simple or rarely in something impressive? I want real opinions on this below. Mistake number 9, delaying decisions until they're expensive. Beginner pilots hesitate. They wait for certainty that never comes. They continue approaches that should end early. They push weather one checkpoint too far. They delay go-arounds because it might work. Experienced pilots decide early. Early diversions, early go-arounds, early cancellations. The earlier the decision, the safer and cheaper it is. Aviation rewards decisiveness, not optimism. Mistake number 10, thinking mistakes mean you're not cut out for flying. This is the silent killer of aviation dreams. Beginners make mistakes and internalize them as failure. They lose confidence. They fly less. Skills fade. Fear grows. Experienced pilots know the truth. Mistakes are information. Aviation mastery is not about perfection. It's about awareness and correction. If you're making mistakes and learning from them, you're doing it right. Final thought. Every pilot makes mistakes. The difference between safe pilots and unsafe ones isn't intelligence or talent. It's humility and reflection. If you're a beginner pilot or a senior returning to the skies, you're not behind. You're exactly where you should be. Slow down, fly simpler, decide earlier, think deeper. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these mistakes hit closest to home? Which ones do you see all the time, but no one talks about? Leave a comment. The best lessons in aviation are shared.